All right, let's dive into an idea from Friedrich Nietzsche that pretty much flips the script on everything we're taught about happiness. What if a good life isn't about avoiding pain, but about forging something powerful directly from it?
So let me start by asking you this, and really think about it. We spend our entire lives trying to be happy, trying to avoid pain, right? But what if that's a huge mistake? What if a life with no challenges, no hardship, is actually a lesser life?
I mean, this is the promise our whole modern world is built on. You see it everywhere, from self-help gurus to the latest tech. The goal is always the same: get more pleasure, get less pain. This is the conventional wisdom, the default setting, and it's exactly what Nietzsche wanted to tear down.
He saw our society as being totally devoted to what we can call the gospel of comfort. It's like a belief system where any kind of hardship isn't seen as a challenge to overcome, but as a total failure of the system.
And you see this everywhere, don't you? Science is always trying to engineer away our struggles, promising this perfectly smooth, frictionless life. We build our days around these little routines of pleasure. But here's Nietzsche's big aha moment. By chipping away at all our suffering, we're also chipping away at our ability to feel deep, profound joy. He put it like this: whoever wishes to derive the greatest possible pleasure must also accept the greatest possible measure of the other. You can't have one without the other.
So this brings us to Nietzsche's most shocking argument, and it's a big one. Suffering is a gift. Yeah, you heard that right. It's not something to be medicated away or ignored. It's something to be embraced because it's the necessary ingredient for real growth.
And looking at this chart really shows you just how radical this idea was. Think about other philosophies like Stoicism or traditional Christianity. They often teach that desire is the root of the problem. It leads to pain. So the solution is to suppress it, to become indifferent and find peace. Nietzsche just flips that whole thing on its head. He says suffering isn't the problem, it's the catalyst. It's the thing that awakens and unleashes our deepest desires, and those desires are the very engine of life.
And this all leads to his central concept, self-overcoming. Now, this isn't just self-improvement, like a New Year's resolution. No, this is an active, difficult, constant struggle against your own limits. And what fuels it? All the stuff we're taught to run away from: disappointment, burdens, sacrifice. That's where Nietzsche says true power is found.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? For the strong person, adversity isn't poison at all. It's more like a vitamin. It's the very thing that makes them stronger. It's the necessary force that pushes you to become more than you are.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? How can we take pain and use it for something good? Well, for Nietzsche, the answer is found in the incredible, transformative power of art.
The artist is the perfect model for this. They don't run from their problems or their own imperfections. No, they lean into them. They use all that inner turmoil and chaos as the raw material for their work. They take the messiness of life and forge it into something beautiful. And in doing that, they achieve a kind of spiritual high.
And right here, Nietzsche completely turns our modern obsession with perfection upside down. He's telling us that our flaws, our failures, our suffering, these aren't things to hide or be ashamed of. For an artist, for any creator, they are a gift. As he asks, what would poetry be without the poet's suffering? It's that deep yearning for what we don't have that gives art its real power.
Now hang on, because this is where the idea gets even bigger. Nietzsche takes this concept of creation and applies it not just to a painting or a song, but to reality itself. He challenges the very idea that we all live in one single objective world just waiting to be discovered.
He was really skeptical of the idea that science could ever give us the one true story of the world. He argued that looking at the world in a purely mechanical, scientific way, a view that only cares about counting and measuring, is actually one of the most empty, one of the most meaningless ways to understand our existence. This leads to one of his most mind-bending ideas. Reality isn't found, it's made. For Nietzsche, there is no real world for us to access outside of how we interpret it. As he says, what things are called is infinitely more important than what they are in themselves. Over time, the names we give things, the values we place on them, the stories we tell, they aren't just descriptions of reality, they become the very fabric of reality. So, if reality itself is a creation, then what's the greatest art form? It's not a painting or a symphony. It's the creation of your own life, your own self. We are all artists, and our life is our masterpiece, and we sculpt it every day with our choices, our values, and our interpretations.
Okay, so let's bring this all back to our world right now. What does it actually mean to be an artist of your own life when you're living in a culture that is constantly pushing you towards comfort, towards conformity, towards fitting in?
Nietzsche saw a huge difference between two types of creation. On one side, you have monologic art. This is the art born from being alone, from forgetting the world and just listening to your own inner voice. On the other side, you've got art before witnesses, art that's created for an audience, driven by the need for approval, for likes, for ratings. You can probably see where this is going. Our modern culture, with its social media feeds and its obsession with going viral, relentlessly pulls us toward that art before witnesses. We become, as Nietzsche warned, just a neighbor in the crowd. Our own unique voice gets drowned out by the desire for mass appeal, and real, authentic creation just gets turned into simple entertainment.
And so we end right back where we started, but hopefully with a totally new perspective. Nietzsche challenges us to stop running from our pain and instead to see it as pure potential. To ask ourselves, what is the struggle, the imperfection, the adversity in my own life that I can transform into something powerful? What is the raw material for your greatest creation, which is, of course, yourself? That's the challenge he leaves for all of us.